Hello, Misty, you crazy f***ing bitch. There will be spoilers in this video. You have been warned right here and right now. Finally, it has happened to me. Shauna is in her gay wad era, and I am here for it. I knew we weren't just collectively all imagining her sapphic vibes. It feels so good to be validated. Let's be honest, Shauna has been radiating sapphic energy ever since we were introduced to her and her intense friendship, complemented by homoerotic undertones with Jackie in season 1. The writers have finally accepted the truth about their creation, and we thank them for their service. Hat Girl is no longer an NPC, she's a VIP, and she was ready to risk her entire life for that one kiss. Relatable. Shauna kissing another woman, it has added 10 years to my lifespan. It has. A hungry kiss at knife point was everything we should have gotten in Killing Eve. Nature is healing. I mean, maybe not in this show. Never mind. I will say the kiss did catch me off guard, but that's what I love about this show. It's crazy. Hi guys, welcome to a video, and in today's video I'm just going to be giving you my thoughts on episodes 1 and 2 of Yellowjackets season 3. I'm thinking about doing weekly reviews of the episodes as they drop, but I don't want to make any promises. The tagline for this channel is subscribe for instant disappointment and despair and broken promises. Not a well-kept schedule from someone who has their life together. Okay, let's do this. First of all, I love how at the end of season 2, we were left with a cabin ablaze in the middle of winter, and season 3 opens upon cottagecore springtime, complete with ducks. Now, I don't need to know the details of how they survived the winter without the cabin. I mean, I'm just here to enjoy the vibes. Okay, so thoughts on teen Shauna. I have to say, I am enjoying her relentless rage. Sophie Nélisse did such a fantastic job with portraying Shauna's grief, simmering resentment, and general deep dark emotions in these 2 episodes. Her performances just bring so much to that character. And the thing about Shauna is she's a person who makes awful selfish decisions, but she contains so much depth and is so fascinating to watch. And it's difficult to fully despise her because you understand that her behavior is rooted in her complex emotional and mental state. There's something very human, or perhaps primal is a better word, about her. I think Melanie Lynskey also brings a humorous element to adult Shauna, which also makes it hard to hate her in that timeline. Adult Shauna is a combination of deadly and toxic, yet funny and adorable. I mean, I always praise Sophie and Melanie for their performances every season, but they deserve it. I really love the parallel in episode 2 of adult Shauna immediately grabbing her car keys to use as a weapon when she senses she might be in danger, and young Shauna immediately brandishing her knife when she senses she might be in danger. There was a lot of visual storytelling this season, which I appreciated, and that particular parallel said so much about Shauna's character and how her survival mindset has remained with her in her adult years. Now, I think the mystery person who has been stalking Shauna might be Melissa, and I think this because of the way that the end of episode 2 switched back and forth between teen Shauna and Melissa kissing and adult Shauna inquiring about who the forgotten phone that she found belongs to. That suggests there's a connection. That said, this seems like a rather obvious setup, so there may be some kind of twist where it turns out that this mystery person is someone related to Melissa instead of her. I mean, it's something to do with that because they are revealing this history between Shauna and Melissa for a reason. I have so many questions. Is Melissa the 8th survivor? Is that who Hilary Swank is going to be playing? I want the answers. I also get the feeling that this relationship between Shauna and Melissa is going to be a messy one. Their kiss came across to me as being some kind of outlet for Shauna instead of a result of romantic attraction, and we also don't know what Melissa's motives for the kiss are either. Is it genuine attraction on her part, or is it a bid for some kind of of protection. Either way, I can't wait to see what unfolds between these two. If I had to take a guess at where their storyline is going, I would assume at some point Shauna betrays or hurts Melissa in some way. I can't see them getting involved and then just having a simple breakup with no issues. I think it gets messy and ends on a very sour note, hence the stalking of adult Shauna. Moving on to adult Ty and Van. Oh, I live for these two. I mean, firstly, Lauren Ambrose and Tawny Cypress are gorgeous. So gorgeous. And secondly, their chemistry is chemistrying. I really love their dynamic, and all of the layers and history embedded into their connection makes their relationship and interactions so interesting to watch. And on top of all of this, the kisses are god tier. Tawny and Lauren never give us crumbs. They give us the whole cake. Ty is also giving me like Bet Porter vibes this season. I think it might be the whole failed politics thing, combined with the fact that her love life is so messy. She's not even divorced and she's sleeping with Van, all whilst trying to keep in contact with her son. Oh, it was giving season 4 of the L Word. One thing that jumped out to me about the Ty-Van relationship in these two episodes is the constant theme of fire in their scenes. You have Van mentioning taking a flamethrower to the restaurant, Ty picking up the matchbook in the restaurant and then later placing it in the candle at the religious altar, which possibly taps back into the religious beliefs that Ty held out in the wilderness, and is her acknowledging that it took the waiter's life in exchange for her survival, and could also be a visual representation of her regressing back to her youth. There's actually lots of interesting theories about the waiter's death in exchange for Ty Van's survival. For example, Ty Van narrowly avoid getting hit by traffic. So did the wilderness save their lives and take the waiters in exchange? Is it related to the sacrifice ritual where someone dies in order for the girls to eat and survive? Or is it related to a life being taken so that Van can survive her cancer, which Lottie insinuated at the end of season 2? There's a lot to consider. Alongside this, during the Ty-Van reunion kiss in season 2, we can see a fire burning in the background. So this continuous theme of fire could be hinting that one or maybe both of them were possibly responsible for setting the cabin on fire, especially since it happened at night and we know that other Ty comes out when Ty is sleepwalking. Ty and Van were also the last ones out of the burning cabin, which may also have some significance. I also love how the fire imagery is symbolic of their fiery relationship. Of course, it's very heated in a sexual way, but it also represents how their connection is a dangerous one. Another notable theme is foie gras. At the restaurant, they eat foie gras covered in cotton candy, and foie gras is a rich buttery pate made from the livers of fattened ducks or geese, which connects back to the ducks that we see at the wilderness camp. And foie gras is made by a particularly cruel form of animal abuse. So the fact that something so cruel is covered in cotton candy, with cotton candy having associations of sweetness, youth and innocence, suggests a lot about Ty and Van's characters and relationship. There's something cruel and dark lurking underneath. Foie gras is also a French phrase which translates to fatty liver in English, and this connects back to the joke Ty made about Van being scared of getting a fatty liver when she's offering to take her to the restaurant. So there's a lot of clues and foreshadowing in the dialogue and visuals about both their characters and the narrative direction in these two episodes. As a side note, another example of narrative clues embedded in the dialogue in these first 2 episodes of season 3 that I want to quickly point out is Shauna being called a gay wad in episode 1 and then going on to kiss another girl in episode 2, which was a fun connection. If you noticed any more of these fun connections, please let me know down in the comments. Going back to Ty Van, I also think the waiter's sudden death from the dine and dash, aligning with the sacrifice ritual, also possibly suggests that there really is a supernatural force at work, which is interesting because as an audience moments, we're still not sure if all the terrible and strange things that are happening are due to supernatural forces invoked by their time in the wilderness, or if these women are all just experiencing some kind of collective psychosis and bad luck with their trauma manifesting itself in various ways. I mean, I don't think we'll ever truly get an answer about this until season 5, and that's if we get an answer at all. But yes, I think Ty and Van are going to have a very dark and messy storyline this season. There's already a clear theme of kind of fire, cruelty, and consumption intertwined with them, and you could also see that they were both hiding something from each other after Van got back from seeing a doctor. So I am definitely seated. I have to say, teen Lottie pressuring Travis into taking drugs for the sake of connecting to the wilderness felt really uncomfortable. I mean, Lottie is an unnerving person in general, but they've really turned the dial up this season. I also feel like this may have contributed to Travis's addiction issues later on. And then again, you could easily trace both his and Natalie's addiction issues back to their trauma, but it will be interesting to see if a connection between Lottie and Travis's addiction is confirmed at some point. Now, is Mari the pit girl, or are the writers simply messing with us? First of all, the title for episode 1, the same episode with Mari in the pit, is called It Girl. They knew what they were doing with that. Second of all, in the pilot episode of the first season, the girl who gets caught in the pit does look a bit like Mari, especially with the long dark hair. And there's also a parallel between the opening of the season 1 pilot, where we see Pit Girl being chased, and the season 3 opening with Mari being chased. The hints are hinting. The only thing is, it just all seems a bit too obvious. So I don't know if we're supposed to take these clues at face value or suspect them to be red herrings. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments, because I'm curious to know what other people think. Moving on to adult Misty, my favorite character. I think it's really interesting that they're revealing a new layer to her character. We haven't really seen her spiral in this way before, and the fact that she's doing so says a lot about the kind of connection she had with Nat, who in some ways was one of the most important relationships in her life. We've also seen over seasons 1 and 2 how Misty is a person who invests everything in her friendships with these other women, and how she has this kind of deep need to be needed by them. But this season is addressing how one-sided that investment is, and I think it will be interesting to see where this leads her character, because she's so unhinged, but also because she actually does quite a lot for the other women. So her unraveling could result in total chaos for everyone. I have to say, I really do miss adult Nat. Her relationship with Misty was one of my favorite things about this show. And not only did Nat have amazing chemistry with Misty, she was one of the strongest and most interesting personalities in the show. So I think Juliette Lewis leaving was a real loss. You know, the cast and their chemistry with each other is a lot of the reason so many people fell in love with this show in the first place. So losing any of the cast is not ideal. But that said, as much as her absence is felt, I think so far they seem to be landing the plane, no pun intended, in season 3 without her. And also, this is the kind of show where it's inevitable that the main characters are going to die or meet tragic ends, so probably best not to get too attached to them anyway. But yeah, I hope Juliette Lewis comes back around and, you know, makes a cameo at least. I would love to see her following Misty around as a ghost. That would be amazing. Overall, I enjoyed these 2 episodes, and I really appreciate all the kind of small details and visual storytelling that the writers have threaded into them, alongside all of the gayness. That said, I'm still uncertain as to how the rest of this season is going to go, especially given that the writing kind of lost its way towards the end of season 2. But I'm hoping that season 3 has learned from the mistakes of season 2, because this is a show with so much potential potential and I want it to do well. I mean, so far I think season 3 has started off on a lower gear, but I get the feeling that's because we're in for some insane twists and turns down the road. So I am seated for all of the chaos, the cannibalism and cunnilingus. Hopefully. Okay guys, those are my thoughts on episodes 1 and 2 of season 3 of Yellowjackets. Let me know your thoughts and theories down in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe for instant disappointment and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.